McDonald's first started, they were not the number one burger place. When Starbucks started, Starbucks was not the number one coffee place. You got to start somewhere, and you got to take a stand. Okay. So if you just leave it and you said, you know what, we can't have no effect on that stuff. Look how this could happen. Someone could be listening to this podcast as an example, okay? And they said, wow, I never heard about that. When it goes into podcast, they go and they send it to some other news outlet. And the news outlet now posted on Facebook or somewhere where they got 5 million people on their Facebook page or like their Facebook page. All of a sudden now, 5 million people are listening to what we are saying, little so more in South Orange and Maplewood, that the media is very biased in how they distribute the information. And we, as consumers, have to take a lot of these news with a grain of salt and be careful how we consume the news and how we allow it for us to think. And don't allow the media to let you think that Ray Rice is the worst thing since sliced bread. We said that already. But Ray Rice is the worst thing, right? That the other guy that I'm forgetting the guy named Grady from the Jaguars, the other football player, is the worst thing, while they're silent on the judge. They're silent on the judge. You know, and these are some of the things that we have to raise. We have to raise the issues. It's just like here in South Orange and Maplewood, right? How long are we going to be silent on people of color sitting on the board and sitting on the fence? They're fence sitters. How long are we going to allow them to sit on the fence? You know, all they want to do is take middle ground. They don't want to take no high ground or low ground. They want to be in middle ground all the time. And we're going to allow it. And we're going to say, well, you know, we can't do anything about it. Just leave them. No. Make it an issue. And when you make it an issue, right, eventually somebody's going to listen and it's going to have an effect on someone. You know, you know what Martin Luther King said, right? You know the quote.
Oh, my God, please.
You know the quote,
please, you
right?
know, you don't mess it up right now.
You know the
Okay, now listen. I agree with the fact that there are things that need to be exposed. If you talk about issues that are local in this community, I mean, it's a fact that people have way more influence over local issues than they do over a national or international issue. So to talk about problems that are in this community that can be fixed by the board members, so many thousands of residents, and those that they elect to represent them is one thing.
And they sit on the fence.
And it's great for you and I to expose the unevenness of the coverage regarding Ray Rice.
Yeah.
Okay, that's great. But that is, and to be a consumer of the media and understanding the media is a process in itself. But here in the United States right now, what media people choose are pretty much based on their selection of whether I'm going to watch CNN, MSNBC, CBS, ABC, Fox. Am I going to listen to PBS? Am I going to listen to NPR? A lot of that is socioeconomic. So you can't stop people.
No, I'm not trying to stop people.
No, let me finish.
Okay.
Because you just stopped me in my train of thought.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot, people's ideologies and political perspectives are somewhat set in a way. I wouldn't watch Fox.
I watch Fox.
I know, I believe that.
Yeah,
I would not watch that. I'm going to get the I'm going to get the news from a source that is similar to the way I think. All right? So we're certainly not the very, very first people out here to make these kinds of things, to make any, comment, but we definitely are among the first here in South Orange, Maplewood. Mm-hmm. So that's where I stand on that, Anselm.
So here what it is. I believe, and I think when the South Orange Maplewood Online Radio Experience was started, it wasn't really to start no controversy in South Orange and Maplewood. But then I said to myself, Marjorie, I said, how long are we going to continue doing the same thing and expect to get different results? How long are we going to continue to put people on the township committee? I'm speaking about people of color now. Put people on the township committee.
But why would you only speak of people of color, Anselm? The others aren't held accountable?
Yes, they're held accountable.
Are the colored people of color, vote for white people?
But yes, they do.
So those are their representatives as well.
And I agree with you. And this is what I'm saying to you is that, right, the people of color know the difficulties that the kids of color are having in the school system.
You assume that?
Well, you know what? If they don't know, they shouldn't be on the Board of Education.
You can't say that.
Yes, I could. If they don't know, they shouldn't be on the Board of Education.
Either you said, but you're in the township committee. Now you're at the board.
No, I'm at the Board of Education. Okay. I'm not official.
People,
you shouldn't be on the board. If you don't,
I would hope that someone that was white would also know the issues going on with black people.
Yeah, but you know what? I hear you. I'm hearing you. But we got to be honest, though. We got to be honest that, certain people on the Board of Education are not going to address certain issues. Because that's not the issue that they want to address. That's not the issue of their constituents.
Yes, people address their constituents. One would hope that they address everyone. But if I go to someone's coffee or whatever, the people that know them and think similar to them are going to be there.
They're going to address their voters. The people are going to vote for them.
That's right.
Those are the ones they're going to
address those people who know them,
vote for them. Yeah.
Who will call their friends and say, "Go out and vote for Sally Sue."
Exactly. Right. So when you get on the Board of Education now, and people always ask me, "Well, Anselm, you're making all this noise. Why don't you run for the Board of Education?" You know what? That's the easiest cop-out that I've ever heard. You know what? Because you can go to every single one. You know what I want to be? I want to be the person. I want to be the individual that put topics on the table, put situations on the table, have people start to talk about, listen, we need to have this discussion. We need to have this discussion because we keep doing the same thing over and over and over and over. And when is it going to stop? When? I mean, think about it. You had, if you go back to the civil rights, when you had Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, right? You had,
Who else? Come on, name 3 other people.
Jesse Jackson, Marcus Garvey, Kwame Ture. I mean, you want me to keep going?
Yeah, I want you to keep going because your list ain't too cool. But go ahead, it's all right.
So if they had kept silent about things, if Harriet Tubman, I mean, we could go on and on and on and on and on.
At any rate, if they had kept silent. Where would we have been today?
Where would you have been today?
You would be in Trinidad.
No, so how Trinidad get into this?
Because they probably wouldn't have let you in had the United had some American Negroes out here fighting. So.
There you go. You're absolutely correct. If they didn't fight, right? If Rosa Parks didn't decide, Rosa Parks finally decided, you know what?
Didn't make that decision by herself. But I don't want to get into Black history right now.
But no.
Your point is, though.
The point is that there comes a point in time when we have to hold our own accountable for when they're in elected office. And you know what? As a matter of fact, Colonel West.
Wait, don't go to that article right now.
Okay.
We'll pick that up at another time. Okay. There are public officials that should be held accountable. And then from listening to this, there's also a community that needs to be held accountable. I think that one of the major problems is that what we all do is expect the members of the Board of Education, whose job it is to deal with policy and oversee a budget, to resolve every problem in the Black community in South Orange, Maplewood. And indeed, that is not their role.
You're listening to the South Orange Maplewood online radio experience. For more, go to showmore.org to participate in the discussion.
So, Marjorie, what I'm hearing is that you are sort of agreeing with me that we
but I don't want to go there. But yeah,
no, that we are at the point where is that we gotta hold our own accountable for when they get on these whether it's the Board of Education, whether it's the Maple Township Committee, whether it's the South Orange trustees. We gotta tell them, listen, there are certain issues facing our community, and you were elected there to make the education is for each and everyone. And there's a saying in Trinidad and race, every creed and race find an equal place in our national anthem. Every creed and race find an equal place. Okay?
That's a nice thing. Now, but here...
Every creed and race is not finding an equal place in this border, in the South Orange Maple School education system.
It is the squeaky wheel that gets heard. So just as we've talked about before, if you are on the PTA, if you if you are a member of the community who has a voice and isn't intimidated when you walk into a school, then they will hear you. If you are one of those people who is afraid and doesn't make any noise, then your voice won't get heard. But I think that the major thing for people in this community, for black people in this community, is for us to see ourselves as a community. Yes, we belong to South Orange Maplewood, but we are a community within a community, and that community that we do have is not necessarily an organized one that has a voice. So they're individuals. You might have a voice. I may have a voice. But there are groups of people out there who are voiceless and don't realize that part of living in a community is being vocal in that community and participating.
Well, I think you're absolutely correct. You are absolutely correct.
So we can leave off right
there. No, you are correct. Because
I
plain
feel
talk, bad
a
manners.
caveat coming up. This is our goal. I mean, I joined along with you in this endeavor here because I believe that we can and need to create a sense of community among the black people here. And considering that I am in and out of every possible thing I can be in, there's a sense of community among whites in this community. But I don't think that exists with us.
But Marjorie, it's something very important. Not because we are pro-black means to say we are anti-white.
I've never said that.
I'm just telling you that. We are not. No, we are not anti-white. I'm saying that we are not anti-white. That's important for us to say. Not because we are pro-black means to say we are anti-white. We're not anti-white anything. I don't think.
You know what? Who would give you the biggest problem with that?
Who's that?
Now, this is from my experience. So, as you know, and which I've yet to fully announce, is that I'm trying to start or am starting or have incorporated and pulling together a stronger board to have a foundation. So get out map cell. This foundation, my goal or the goal of the foundation is to provide money and education or grants and access to black students who live in this school community, this district, who have attended the schools in this community to get supplemental educational opportunities in the summer. So if you want to send your kid away for 3 weeks, 2 weeks in the summer, there will be grant money for you. And it's not based on income. You can make $20 above the poverty line and still get it. It's open for anybody who wants that money once the foundation is off and running. This is about building a community. And when I explain this program or my idea to anybody, I have yet to meet one white person, and I talk to more than enough of them in my life, who says that's a bad idea. Why is that not extended to white people? But the only people to say, well, I don't know if that's fair, maybe you should help white kids too, are usually black people. So I don't think that any white person would not want to see us do things for ourselves.
And you're absolutely correct.
So I'm not going to have to say, please don't believe. I mean, everyone I know who is white would never think, oh, Marjorie's anti-white, but Marjorie will definitely come out and say the real deal. And that's all Marjorie,
maybe, but you always have to say those things because
I don't think so.
Yeah, because I think some people think that when you're trying to help